Over the past couple of years, with evolving technology and media, the world has also seen a massive change in the content available and consumed today. As traditional entertainment sources have failed to keep up with the times, they're all looking for new ways to bring in the younger generations. The same goes for sports as well. How will a generation raised on fast food and pay-per-view TV have the attention span or interest for a dragged-out boxing match? This question was raised repeatedly by many media houses in the 80s and 90s, but the solution came from a most surprising place. Watch till the end to find out more. Our story begins in Rio de Janeiro, where Rorion Gracie, the patriarch of the Gracie family, had created a great legacy. He made the martial art of Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, now known as Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. With the art perfected, he taught everything he knew to his son, Rorion, who grew up with a fascination for Hollywood. And so, in 1969, he visited the States for a vacation, where his love for the film industry and the country only grew. Rorion decided to stay a little longer to learn more about the cultural and entertainment industry. After about a year, he returned back to Rio to study law at the Federal University. However, a career in law was far from his dream. So when he got the chance, Rorion moved to Southern California in 1978 and made the decision to carry forward his family's legacy to spread the influence of Gracie Jiu-Jitsu around the world. This dream of his came to a brief halt when his fascination for Hollywood took over. He accepted a job as a stunt double and an extra for small movies. He began pursuing his dream of spreading jiu-jitsu culture in his spare time though. He even invited his friends to his garage at Hermosa Beach, where he would teach them the sport. In 1985, Rorion invited his brother Royce to America, who at the young age of 18 had already become an expert in the sport. Soon, people from the industry started taking note of Rorion's exotic martial art practices, and he started receiving many offers. He got a job as a technical advisor for several productions, as directors thought that the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu would give their movies a more unique visual touch than other techniques, which frankly had been overused. This allowed Rorion to spread the influence of his family heritage, and he took on these roles happily, thus finally pursuing his dream full-time. Within just 2 years, he had already become a technical advisor for the popular movie Lethal Weapon, giving advice and tips to none other than Mel Gibson. Now that he had more contacts in the field, he produced a documentary within a year in 1988 called Gracie Jiu-Jitsu in Action. After this, Rorion wasted no time, and in the following year, he inaugurated the first Gracie Jiu-Jitsu Academy in California, along with his brothers. To add on, they produced a large 5-volume documentary that contained step-by-step skills to learn the sport. By 1992, Rorion became a known figure in the martial arts scene in the Hollywood circles. When Lethal Weapon 3 was in the works, he returned again as a technical advisor, and this time, worked alongside a karate instructor, teaching many of these moves to Rene Russo. With such a massive success, many doors opened for Rorion to share and spread his family's legacy. One such opportunity came through a businessman called Art Davie. Now Davie had been fascinated by the Gracie Challenge, a mixed martial arts challenge that Rorion's father and uncle hosted in Brazil. This challenge's goal was to let two people from different martial arts backgrounds compete and to see which set of techniques reigned supreme. If a boxer were to fight against a wrestler, who would win, the boxer or the wrestler? This question amazed Davie and was his main motivation in approaching Rorion. His proposal was simple. They would host a massive single elimination tournament called War of the Worlds, where students of different martial arts schools would compete against a student of Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. Davie's hopes connected with Rorion's, who wished to spread the teachings of his sport. In 1993, Rorion signed the deal with Davie. He drafted the business plan's details, while John Milius, a director and student of Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, became the creative director of the project. Through his connections, Rorion was able to get the word out, and over 28 investors raised the initial capital to start a production house for the tournament. They called it WOW Productions, and they approached pay-per-view companies such as HBO and SET to broadcast the game on TV. While these companies were not willing to take the risk, the Semaphore Entertainment Group, a company that was known for broadcasting unusual shows, decided to take a leap of faith and express their interest. SEG suggested the name of the event as the Ultimate Fighting Championship. They promoted the event as a real-life video game tournament like Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter. The first event was slated to be held in Denver, Colorado on November 12, 1993. Art Davie served as the show's booker, and he told fans that the purpose of the championship was to find out whether a boxer could beat a wrestler. The premise was wholly unique to TV entertainment at the time and was called mixed martial arts. In the UFC, there would be no categories, no explicit rules, and no judges. This was the main selling point of the event. Rorion prepared his brother Royce to be the representative of their family for the event. It would be Royce against 7 other fighters from various disciplines, including boxing, karate, kung fu, kickboxing, and other forms of martial art. In the first fight at Denver, the Gracie family cemented its name in history. Royce won against all the fighters, taking the title of the champion of the first ever UFC, all the while showing the advantages of Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. In terms of entertainment value, the uniqueness of the event and the outright no-rules policy hyped up the public. It turned out to be a hit, with over 80,000 people watching the live broadcast on TV. While Davie had considered this event for just a one-time show, the response clearly showed how much potential this concept of MMA had. Eventually, more UFC tournaments were held, but over time, people started feeling that the competitions were more like human chicken fights. During the early 2000s, UFC was marred in controversy, and WoW Productions started losing a lot of money. Eventually, WoW had to sell UFC off to the Fertitta brothers, who wanted to regulate the MMA market a bit more formally. For better or for worse, these new owners made MMA into the official and formal sporting format that it is today. They came up with the unified MMA rules, an official list of rules, weight categories, and other criteria to ensure that the championships were more regulated. Rorion Gracie and his brother moved on to other avenues, but nobody can shake the legacy that they created for themselves. Gracie Jiu-Jitsu is a worldwide craze thanks to them, and UFC has injected some life into traditional sports entertainment. In fact, various teachings from Gracie Jiu-Jitsu are now incorporated into the official training module for law enforcement officers in America. Isn't that crazy? Moreover, UFC just signed a massive deal of over $1 billion with ESPN, and public interest in MMA is at an all-time high. So what do you think? Is Gracie Jiu-Jitsu better than other martial art forms? Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, consider hitting the like and subscribe buttons. It does wonders for the YouTube algorithm, so more people can see our videos and so that you can be notified when we launch our next video. We try and put out at least one new one per week, and as you can imagine, the research and editing alone of these type of videos takes us close to 18 hours. So we would really appreciate it if you could also check out our Patreon. For just $1 a month, you can support our work. We produce over 12 videos per month, so that is literally 8 cents per video. Thank you so much, and we'll see you at our next unmasking.